Philip to Evelyn, 4 September 1945. My darling, there's a USO show tonight in about an hour, and I want to see it, so I'm writing this in the interval. We had the heaviest rainstorm since we've been here last night and this morning. The noise the falling rain made on the metal outsides of our Nissen huts was almost deafening. Shortly after lunch, the skies cleared and the weather has been perfect since. We didn't start processing till 1 p.m. when we began with the 351st Fighter Squadron. The last man went through the line at 3:50 p.m. when we were through for the day. It is monotonous, tiring work, and when I got back to my hut, walking, my bike has a flat tire, I felt the need of a nap. I awoke at 6 p.m. This morning I was kept busy in the orderly room with soldiers' deposits, PTTs, etc. Flash! Sergeant Murphy just walked in with the news that we are slated to leave this station 30 September, possibly to a POE. This is not a rumor. He received a letter from HQ, 3rd Air Division this afternoon, setting forth the dates when each group is scheduled to leave. The 440th Air Service Group is scheduled to leave 30 September. What do you think of that, Chippy? I'm all excited about the news, so much so that I don't think I'll bother to go to the USO show after all. It looks now like your present hunch that I'll be home within 6 to 8 weeks may be the correct one. Gee, Ev, do you suppose that in a matter of 4 or 5 weeks from now? Your V-mail of 28 August was lying on my bunk waiting for me when I walked in this afternoon, and mighty good it looked, too. On reading the very first sentence, I thought to myself, now that's service. Last night I asked you to please write to the Davises. Today I get a letter saying that you have done so. Thanks a million, honey. You wouldn't let me down. Reminds me that I forgot to mention that I got off a longie to Jack Ann a few nights ago. You were about to go to the Broad with M to see Diamond Horseshoe. I'll bet that brought back some pleasant memories, huh? Very glad to hear that Eddie S. is back home. The best news contained in your letter, though, is the information that Adele was a very good girl that night. The next time she shows a tendency to be unmanageable, tell her from me that if she promises to be a good girl until I come home and keeps her promise, that I will get her a real live puppy for her very own shortly after I return. I've been contemplating it anyway, and if at all possible, I'll bring the pup with me. That is, if you have no objection, honey. Please advise. I'm so full of the good news. It's so wonderful to know something definite after 2 years of uncertainty that I hardly have the patience to continue writing on. I can almost taste your lips, your throat, that certain spot behind your knees, the smell of your hair, your baby fragrance, and well, you know, all the things that I love about you. Come on, something. Forgive me if I seem overwrought, darling, and if I must cut this short because I'm too on edge to continue. It has been a long, maddening wait, so you can understand what this news means to me. I guess you'll feel pretty much the same when you read this, darling. Keep your fingers crossed, sweetheart, and pray that it will be the POE we're going to at the end of this month. I adore you, my sweet. You'll find out how much just as soon as I get close enough to you to demonstrate. That's a promise. So you better count on it and act accordingly. I think it would be very considerate and clever of you if you could arrange to come to New York alone as soon as I call you from there, which will be only when I am free to be with you and go home with you the following evening. Yes, I think that would be best, but right now I'm just brimful of all sorts of ideas. So if it doesn't sound practical to you, forget it. However, I do think it would be wonderful that way. Don't you, baby? Oh, to hold you in my arms once again. My dearest love to the pumpkin and all. Here's a couple of thousand kisses, Chippy, to hold you until. Your Phil. Milk Brown, Phil's cousin to Evelyn, September 4th, 1945. Dear Evelyn, I have received quite a few of your letters since I wrote you last, which I know myself was quite some time ago, but I'm sure you will forgive me, as I just would not write many letters while we were on the move so much. I am feeling fine and hope this letter finds you all the same. The mail have been rather slow coming in the past few days, but maybe it will pick up soon. It sure was a happy day for us when this war ended, and I can't explain how we felt, myself in writing. Since the war ended, we moved again, but we are still somewhere on the same island, Mindanao. I also can't say too much about the type of work we are doing now, but I can say, though, that we are collecting up all of the Jap prisoners that are turning into us here. They still censor our mail, but maybe soon we will be able to write what we please. The quicker these Japs turn in, the sooner we will get back somewhere and set up in a good area instead of out here in these jungles. We can't complain too much, though, for we are having it pretty easy for the present time. Another fellow and myself live in a small tent, and we have plenty of room to ourselves. We have cots to sleep on, and we have shelves built over them to put our clothes and equipment on. I sent home a Jap flag yesterday that I got off a Jap officer before the war ended, and it sure makes a nice souvenir. The folks will show it to you when they receive it. We are eating a little better now, and we had fresh eggs twice since we have been here. There surely is no reason why we should not be eating good now. Well, Evelyn, that about winds up the news for now. Give my regards to all, and I'll write again soon. Sincerely, Milt.